Welcome back, everybody. This week we are at Talladega. This is week 12. There's our second race at Talladega, and it was a good night. We had a low car count, which is a little challenging on a big track like this, so it's really important to stick with the draft or you get strung out. It was a good night and a lot of fun. We'll get to it here in a minute, but first with practice. For me, practice at Talladega, any of the drafting tracks, it's really just about figuring out your steering ratio, where we can't really change much else. For me, the steering ratio is really important because that's where you can really scrub a lot of speed off, and also you can be a lot really wiggly as you're behind the other cars. So figuring that steering ratio out is really important. And one thing I learned on here this week is about your force feedback. Someone mentioned that setting your force feedback to auto, which basically has the computer figure out how much force feedback to have in your wheel. And so I played with that, and that was actually really helpful. So as I hit the auto, it went to a 34, mid-20s. I usually run a 10 or a 12, so pretty low. And having that higher force feedback gave me more feeling in the wheel, so I was able to lean into the turn a little more, lean into the wheel, gave me more resistance, and that helped me keep a straighter line. So that was pretty helpful, and I'm going to implement that in future races as well. And the other thing about practice at drafting tracks is really just about getting in line and practicing the draft. There's not much about running by yourself other than trying to find a qualifying time. So the goal here was just to get in line with somebody and see how the car felt being pushed and then also pushing. But it was pretty eventful. We'll skip ahead here to qualifying.
Let's head out to the track and see who's out there. Right now we have Brad Young out on track. Brad Young just ran a 53.457. His previous lap, 53.403, was his fastest lap. That's going to bring him home in seventh. And we're off. Josh Hall with a great start. Ryan Gomes right behind him, pushing him into turn one. Eddie Morris to the outside with his teammate Joe Wright right behind him, pushing Travis Bennett into turn number one. Travis Bennett decides to take the inside line, but it's perfect where Eddie and Joe want him to be, out of their way. They're going to get to the front of this field. Every point counts at this point. They're going to look to get those points, those laps led, so they can at least get a point for that to make sure they lock themselves into the round of 8 that's coming up next week.
It wasn't a bad start. We were able to get up here to the front in third position. Just trying to run the bottom line, stay in line here, and maintain position while Eddie gets his lap led and he goes to the back. I'm going to pull up here to the second position, but still just plan to stay in line, and hopefully the cautions happen behind me, not in front of me.
See if we can get this cleaned up a little bit. It's kind of jumpy out here. Eddie Morris got his lap led and headed to the back of the field. I can imagine Joe Wright's going to do a lot of the same thing.
So in my mind here, I was just going to be riding along. We're trying to get laps in the books and just hold my position. Second is great. Stage is a ways away, but just riding here. I didn't realize these guys were just going for a lap led.
Perfect. We've got everything going up and running. Everything's working perfectly.
And I duck up here behind Joe, and I should have just stayed down low, and I would have got a lap led and got an extra point for the night, but didn't understand totally what they were doing. That's all right. Lesson learned there.
Major incident here. We just saw it between Charles Balance back here in the middle of the pack here. Let's take a look and rewind and see what happened.
And this is the advantage of running up front. Usually the wrecks are behind you.
Charles Balance just goes low for some reason here and taps the outside of Travis Bennett, just knocks him around. Then Charles balance into the wall. Once they get to that zone, it's up to the leader's discretion or the green flag.
Let's take a look at the restart after
You'll see
that
the car's
crash.
been in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Great jump by Josh Hall. However, on his outside, Eddie Morris and Joe Wright. We've got another car up in the wall. Trey Spears takes out, oh my gosh. Takes out half the field.
Take a look from my cockpit view. Oh. Of course I get hit there and it tapped 27 in the back. Actually it was the 7 car. And did a little bit of damage. Let's take a look at this. Things happen fast here. So there's a wreck happening in front of me. The goal here is just to slow down, not try to hit anybody, but I get tapped here, I believe in the back. He got slowed up, that's what it was. I didn't have a chance to slow up at all. Got some pretty significant damage there. I'm going to go in the pits here and let's see if we can get her fixed. A lot of damage. Ooh, look at that tire. It's going to use this fast repair. Fortunately for me, I can just come in here and sit for a little extra time, let the pit crew do their work on fixing that damage there. You'll see it slowly bend back into shape. And obviously fill it full of fuel. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Let's get it back out there, get in line, and see where we line up. For this restart, looks like I come out in the outside lane. What a lot of the guys were doing was pitting with a lap to go, and what that would do is they could fuel up, but also would put them all in line with each other. It's kind of an interesting strategy that I didn't catch on to at first. I thought they were playing games. They'll see in a later lap that kind of leave you out to dry, but it works out as it's still able to get in line and make some progress. And let's check out our cockpit view again. We'll see if we can get up to these guys' bumper. And I end up getting in line with these guys, top 3, and just sticking with them for quite a while. And I wasn't trying to pass, just trying to stick with them. Hopefully we can get some gap between us and the guys behind us, and just run it out till we need a pit before the stage. It was a good time. Let's go. You can see here we're just running in line. It's a little challenging to be that 4th car. I probably should have been a little closer to their bumper, but it's what it is. Just kind of maintain here. Let's get to the next caution.
Our drivers are off. Joe Wright currently in the lead. Carlton Charles right behind him. Travis Bennett on the outside line with Brad Young pushing him down the backstretch. Eddie Morris back on the lead lap. We are going 3 wide here. Devin Butchino and Eddie Morris up on that outside line here. Trying to make the 3rd line work. Didn't quite get enough momentum there. I'm sure they're trying to probably get up to their teammate. Again, these guys work really well together. Charles Balance also back out on track. If you get on the side of him, pull him off of Travis Bennett. Trey Spears makes a hard left-hand turn down onto the bottom line in front of Josh Hall. Almost makes contact. I'm sure that Josh Hall was anticipating that being his teammate, but that was still a dangerous move. Dalton Gibson in the number 7 car. I'm sorry, Carlton Charles in the number 7 car. Keep getting those two confused, I apologize. Is with Brad Young on the top line, trying to make this work here. Joseph Wright not wanting to get Travis Bennett any kind of run on his teammates. Travis Bennett goes to the outside, almost cuts off Joe Wright's nose. I know they're not going to do that for very much longer. We're going to come down to our stage caution here. Eddie Morris is going to take home your stage win unless Travis Bennett gets a run here. Not going to be enough.
This was another restart where they all pitted and got in line and left me in a bad spot. I was going to be up there all by myself, which would be really bad. Fortunately, that 17 got up in there to help me out. Otherwise, yeah, be hung out to dry. It's not a good thing to be on the outside by yourself.
Cars entering the top right-hand corner of your frame here. Travis Bennett gets a great jump on the outside. Again, Brad Young is going to be in a bad position here. You can see him coming down here. Brad Young able to make that hole or that gap work there. Able to get down into under... Able to get down right under in front of Adam St. John here. Eddie Morris hops up to that top line. Heading back towards the front. You can see Eddie Morris has his teammates with him. Devin Butchino, Joe Wright. They're all on the lead lap now, able to get back together. And this is where it's going to get interesting for these folks, because they are going to take the lead more than likely with how well this team gels together. We've got a long rest of the race. You'll probably see them switch out every once in a while. Joe Wright cleared, comes down first. The rest of his team comes down in front of him. Now that we have the stage finished, this is where a little bit of strategy is going to come. Take a look at these guys back here. A little bit of strategy is going to get involved here when it comes to the fuel stops. Ethan Horst and Ryan Gomes still on pit road. And you can see now there's nobody, because Travis Bennett doesn't have anybody to work with. Brad Young's not on his bumper. Trackside Motorsports up on that top line with Trey Spears, Trey Spears, Josh Hall, and Carlton Charles. Sorry, that was the number 7 car. Oh yeah, Carlton Charles was up on that top line working with Trey Spears and Josh Hall. And he gets up with Brad Young, who is on the same team behind Travis Bennett, going to try to close this gap to the front pack. But in order to do that, you've got to get much closer than that. It's so easy to lose the draft here.
We were able to get behind the 01 car and push him up to catch up, but unfortunately he kind of slipped up here, and I went below the yellow line, but it was kind of to avoid hitting him. But that actually helped me out because that got me close to the top 3 and pushed him on the outside. able to maintain position here. And able to run with these guys for a while. I'm going to fast forward here. We just run in line for quite a while until our pit stops. Show you this for a minute. The announcer shows you basically my rear quarter panel, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to watch from this viewpoint.
You can see that gap getting pulled between Trey Spears and Josh Hall. The way to combat this for Josh Hall is to get right on Trey Spears' bumper and push him back up. They've got to stay away from each other. Travis Bennett falls back in line behind Josh Hall.
My teammate actually did a good job here. He kind of pulled this pack off behind us. And he did that intentionally because he was wanting to protect himself. But that gave us a pretty good breakaway, and I'm able to maintain with the top 4 for quite a while.
Everyone falls back in line here. Then back up to our leaders here. Let's see what they do for pit strategy. Here they go down pit road. Brad Young doesn't quite know when they were going to go.
Yeah, I was just really watching to see when they pit in. Want to give them plenty of space. Didn't want to cause any issues going into pit road, which can easily happen here at this track from 180 miles an hour down to
everyone's
50.
Coming. Here comes Travis Bennett. Trey Spears and Adam St. John. Josh Hall stays out with Dalton Gibson.
And this pit was just pretty much fuel only. I can't remember. I think I might have taken
off.
Left or right tires, 2 tires. And it come out, and I was trying to hold back a little bit, not to get in front of Eddie.
Has to back up.
But you can see I crossed the line here, and ended up being, this is a pivotal point of the race for most of us, including especially for myself, because I cost myself a black flag by getting an unsafe pit entrance.
Josh Hall down on pit road now. Brad Young did get a black flag on that pit stop, so he's going to have to go back down pit road. Not sure if it was for speeding or unsafe pit exit. Which leaves Team Neon up front all by themselves. Racing just for...
So skip ahead quite a bit.
Rights, I guess it would be at this point.
Black flag ruined my night, and going behind
all
quite a bit. I got behind one guy. I was able to maintain.
Just because
I've been able to finish 7th, which wasn't really too bad. There's no point in trying to gain another position.
Let's see
if
Joe makes a move coming off of 4 here.
The guy in front of me, if I remember right, I was behind the 81, which he's in the playoffs and I'm not. So to me, I was no point in trying to pass him, and finish the race out in the top 10, which isn't a bad night. We'll take it.
No moves made here. Neon's going to take it across the line 1, 2, and 3. Head over to Trey Spears' team here. We are coming out of turn 4 right now. Travis Bennett on the outside making a run towards Trey Spears. His teammate Ryan Gomes on the inside. Let's see if Travis is able to make that gap close. He comes down to his teammate. Not able to make it. Travis Bennett going to be coming home in 5th place. Trey Spears will be in 4th place. Josh Hall, our next driver to cross the line, fighting or battling it out with Brad Young for 6th place. Let's see if Brad Young is able to get a draft and get a pull around him. Doesn't look like he's going to make it. Josh Hall is going to take home 6th place. Brad Young's going to be in 7th place. And
again, it wasn't a bad night. Still a lot of fun, able to race with these guys. But let's take a look at how the points shook out after Talladega. Looks like I was able to move up 2 positions. I don't think Billy was in the race, and I don't think Grayson was in the race either, so that definitely helped me. Not a bad end of the night, and another top 10. We'll take it, and it definitely helped our team. I think we end up moving up quite a bit in the standings. We were running down in 7th, so now we're up at 5th place in the standings for our team, and we looks like we have a chance to possibly get up to even 4th. I don't see us getting up to anywhere past there, but let's see if we can pull together and get some good top 10s, top 5s, and see what we can do to get up there. Again, I appreciate everybody for watching, and look forward to next week at Bristol Motor Speedway.